Dear students, we are going to study Grade 7 Geography Unit 2. The lesson is Identity of Sri Lanka. From this video, I discuss identity of Sri Lanka, geographical identity of Sri Lanka, and finally, I hope to give some activities to you. First of all, let's simplify the word identity. Identity can be defined as the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Any individual in the society has his or her own identity based on the features of her body and character. As a student, you also have your own identity based on your appearance, behavior, and qualities. Not only for human beings, the countries also have their identities. Now, let's study the identity of our country, Sri Lanka. The identity of a country can be divided as social identity and geographical identity. Under the geographical identity of a country, we can discuss about location, relief features, weather conditions, and vegetation types. Location. Using two methods, we can express about the location of a country. Relative location and specific location. Now, let's look at what is relative location. Showing the location of country based on lands and oceans in its immediate surroundings is called as relative location. In here, we specially consider about the surrounding area. Then what are the oceans and what are the lands or continents we can see around the place, around the selected country. Okay, now let's look at what is specific location. Showing the location of a country with reference to longitudes and latitudes is called as specific location. You know about longitudes and latitudes. Then longitudes are the imaginary lines which are drawn from north to south on the model of globe. Then latitudes are the imaginary lines which are drawn from east to west on the model of globe. So using these longitudes and latitudes, we can explain about the location of any place. This is a scientific method. Then, now let's look at the relative location of Sri Lanka as well as the specific location of Sri Lanka. Here, from this map, you can see the relative location of Sri Lanka. Then, what are the land area and oceans around our country? Okay, to the north of Sri Lanka, you can see Asia continent, and to the south of Sri Lanka, Indian Ocean. Then to the west of Sri Lanka, we can see there is a continent, Africa continent. Then to the east of Sri Lanka, we can see some islands. These are called as Southeast Asia. Then Southeast Asia. Okay, now let's look at the specific location of Sri Lanka. Here you can see two maps. In these maps, you can see some horizontal lines and vertical lines. They are latitudes and longitudes. These lines have values. Using these values, we can say specific location of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is located between 5 degrees 55 minutes to 9 degrees 51 minutes north latitudes and 79 degrees 41 minutes to 81 degrees 53 minutes east longitudes. Okay, now let's study relief features of our country. Although Sri Lanka is a small island, it has lot of relief features. In Sri Lanka, we can mainly identify 3 relief zones. They are coastal plain, intermediate plain, and central hills. Sri Lanka is an island, so around Sri Lanka we can see a coastal belt. This coastal belt is a plain area. Its elevation is about 30 meters from the mean sea level. In this coastal plain, we can see relief features such as broad plains, bays, lagoons, points, and islands. Intermediate plain spreads 30 meter to 300 meter. Plains, ridges, residual hills are in this zone. The elevation of central hills is over 300 meter. There are mountain ranges, plateaus, valleys, waterfalls, and gaps in central hills. These relief features has enhanced the natural beauty of Sri Lanka. Here you can see a table. It represents relief zones and their relief features with examples. This is a very important summary to you. You can use this for ease of your study. Mountain ranges in Central Highlands. Piduruthalagala, Knuckles, Ragala, Dolosbage, Samanala, Haputale. These are some of mountain ranges in Central Highlands. If you want more details about mountain ranges in Central Highlands, watch Mountains video in Geography Teacher YouTube channel. Okay, now let's look at what are the gaps in Central Highlands. Gap is a flat land area between 2 mountains. Then Galagedara, Balana, Ginigathena, Balakaduwa, Haputale, Elder. These are gaps in Central Highlands. Waterfalls: Bambarakanda, Devon, Dunghinda, Diyaluma, Lakshapana. Then rivers: Mahaveli, Kalani, Walave, Kalu. These are some of rivers in Central Highlands. Now let's look at intermediate plain. Residual hills are located in intermediate plain of Sri Lanka. Mihintale, Sigiriya, Athugala, Dimbulagala, Dambulla are some of residual hills in intermediate plain of Sri Lanka. Intermediate plain is a plain area. North and north central region of Sri Lanka is a large scale plain area. Now let's look at coastal plain of Sri Lanka. In this coastal plain also we can identify different types of relief features. Bays: Koddiyar Bay, Veligama Bay, Arugam Bay. Then lagoons: Putlam Lagoon, Negambu Lagoon, Kokilai Lagoon and Betiklo Lake Capes or point, or we can say as headlands. Then Dondra Head, Point Pedro, Sangaman Kanda Point are some examples for points in Sri Lanka. There are islands around our country. Then Kites, Mena, Kairathiv, Nainathiv are some examples for islands in Sri Lanka. Now let's discuss about the temperature and rainfall of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a country located in tropical zone. So there is a high temperature throughout the year. It's about 27 Celsius degrees to 30 Celsius degrees. Sri Lanka receives uniform rainfall throughout the year. There are 3 rainfall types in Sri Lanka. They are monsoon rainfall, convectional rainfall and cyclones. Monsoon rainfall. Monsoons are the periodical winds blowing in the country from the directions of southwest and northeast. There are 2 types of monsoon rainfall in Sri Lanka. They are southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. Southwest monsoon. Southwest monsoon brings rain to southwest of Sri Lanka between May and September. Receives heavy rainfall and due to that mostly occur floods and landslides in southern and western parts of Sri Lanka. Northeast monsoon. From the northeast monsoon, northern and eastern parts of Sri Lanka receive heavy rain between December to February. Convectional rainfall. When the land warms up, it heats the air above it. This causes the air to expand and rise. As the air rises, it cools and condenses. In this process continues, then rain will fall. Convectional rain occurs throughout the year, especially we can see during March, April, September and October. This rain occurs with thundering and lightning. Cyclones. Cyclones occur due to the air disturbances in the Bay of Bengal. Rain with strong winds. Cyclone rainfall receives to Sri Lanka during October, November and December. Okay, now let's learn about natural vegetation in Sri Lanka. There is a variation in natural vegetation grown in different areas due to changes of rainfall, temperature and altitude. Therefore, it can be seen several types of natural vegetation in Sri Lanka. They are tropical rainforests, grassland and patana, thorny bushes and shrubs, mangroves. Tropical rainforests are in wet zone of Sri Lanka. There are tall trees and high biodiversity in these forest areas. Grasslands and patana can be seen close to the plateaus. Short trees grow there. Thorny bushes and shrubs grow in dry and semi-arid areas where a dry climate exists. Mangroves. Mangroves are spread close to coastal lagoons and river mouths. These lagoon areas are suitable for fishing industry as fish breeding areas. Dear students, you have 2 map exercises here. Do these map exercises correctly. Okay, dear students, I believe that you have got a good comprehension about geographical identity of our country. To learn about social identity of Sri Lanka, watch the next video, Identity of Sri Lanka Part 2. Goodbye children.